What is up, everybody? Mark here, and welcome to the Prepared Pantry episode 4. It is a really hot day today, 89 degrees as a matter of fact. On a hot day like this in the middle of the summer, it is really hard to feel like cooking, and you can't order out all the time either. So tonight we're going to do a chilled lo mein beef noodle dish. It really doesn't involve all that much time at the stove. We're just going to boil some noodles, and we're going to cook the beef, which, because it's sliced so thin, is going to cook relatively quickly. So before we get into the recipe, I just want to take a minute to thank you all again so much for supporting me and supporting the channel. It means the world to me that those of you who've subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, please do. You can click the red button down below. While you're at it, don't forget to follow me on social media. You'll find me at MarkBurm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Without further ado, let's get to the recipe. Okay, so for this recipe, the ingredients we are going to need are 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 1 lemon, the zest of 1 lemon and the juice of 1 lemon, 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 2 cloves of garlic. If you have giant garlic like I have, 1 clove is going to be good enough. I'm just going to cut this in half so that I can fit it in my garlic press. And 1/4 of a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. We're going to need 2 carrots, a cucumber, 1 stalk of lemongrass. I did not have lemongrass at my grocery store, so we're going to use a dab of lemongrass paste. And about ½ a pound of beef. You can use whatever cut of beef you have laying around. I've got a couple of steaks that were in the freezer here. And you just want to slice it thin. And we're going to use linguini today. That is the only fresh pasta that I was able to find that I could approximate for lo mein noodles, but it'll do. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is grate our carrots on a box grater. I've already peeled these. Okay, now to our bowl of shredded carrot, we are going to add our cucumber. I'm going to cut it in half and then thinly slice crosswise. And this is going to go right in with the carrots. Okay, next we are going to take about 1/4 of our lime juice. And we're going to mix that with the brown sugar. I'm going to pour this over our veggie mixture. And just toss this to coat. And that is going to sit and marinate. And we are going to take our soy sauce. Our Worcestershire sauce, and the rest of the lime juice. And just swish that together in a larger bowl. All right, next step, I'm gonna get a couple things cleaned up and we're gonna cook our beef. All right, now to get started on the beef, we are going to heat a little bit of olive oil. All right, we're gonna add our beef. And we're just gonna cook this for maybe 2 or 3 minutes until it's browned and mostly cooked through. And I'm just gonna cover it to help it cook a little bit quicker and hold in some of the heat and some of the grease so it doesn't splatter all over the place. To make this a little bit easier too, when I cut up the beef earlier, I seasoned it with salt and pepper then, so that I could just dump it in and not have to worry about it. Okay, now with the steak mostly cooked through, we're going to add our red pepper flake, lime zest, garlic, and a dab of lemongrass. And I'm just going to mix this until it's fragrant with the lemongrass and the garlic, and the lime zest for that matter. And I just want to let this cook for another minute or so, just to make sure that it's cooked all the way through. All right, I think we're good. So this is just going to go right into our bowl of prepared sauce. Along with any of the cooking liquid and all this good stuff in here. And we're just going to give this a toss and put this aside. And we will get ready to boil our noodles. All right, so we're just going to bring a pot of salted water to boil, boil up our pasta, and then everything will come together. Okay, we are ready to add our pasta. This and make sure it doesn't stick together. Fresh pasta tends to want to stick together in the package. Now, depending on the type of noodle that you're using, you will need to cook it for maybe a different amount of time. Generally, fresh noodles about this size only need 2, maybe 3 minutes boiling, and then we'll drain it and we're ready to assemble everything. All right, I think we should be good. I'm gonna go drain the noodles and run them under cold water to cool them off for a minute, and I'll be back and we'll put everything together. So the nice thing about this being served chilled is you really don't have to worry about getting interrupted while you're cooking. You know, the beef can sit, the vegetables can marinate. In fact, a lot of times I like to make this way ahead of time. I'll make the beef ahead, I'll let the vegetables marinate. Then when it comes time to fire dinner, all I have to do is boil some fresh pasta, mix everything together, and it's ready to go. So that said, we are going to add the noodles first to the beef. Toss this a little bit. And we are going to add our marinated vegetables. This is so good. I can't wait. And so much of the bulk of it is veggies, you know, so it's not awful. Awful for you, that is. Yeah, it's pasta, but you know, it's pasta with lots of good for you stuff in it. So we're really just gonna mix this all through to combine everything, and we're gonna plate it up and give it a taste. And it can be hard to get everything well mixed because the noodles kind of want to tangle up among themselves. Okay. Let's serve up a plate. Make sure I get a little bit of everything in here. Get a little bit of everything on there. So the lime juice and the sugar makes kind of a little bit of a vinaigrette, which is great on the vegetables. And the sauce just coats everything. Well, I could just stand here and eat this whole bowl. This is the first time that I've made this with linguini. I usually use a round soba noodle or something more along those lines, but it worked out just as well. And it shows, you know, improvise. Use what you've got. Use what you've got access to. Again, we didn't have a stalk of lemongrass for this, so I used lemongrass paste. I think it came out just as good. I did add some salt and pepper to the vegetables. Tasted them a little bit at the end once they marinated for a bit. Mixed in a little bit of salt and pepper, but that was really it. There is an awful lot of salt, I think, in it already from the Worcestershire sauce and the soy sauce. So it generally doesn't need a whole lot of salt added. Plus, you know, a little bit of salt and pepper on the beef before that went in the pan. But yeah, delicious, good for you. What's wrong with that? All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.